Battle Through the Heavens, Chapter 92, Intercepting the Expensive Medical Shipment of the Jialei Clan. With the mystery of Xiaoyan's hidden protector finally revealed, Shun'er carries the weight of this new secret into the morning light. As the sun rises over the Xiao estate, a new day begins with a quiet visit that belies the intensity of the night before. However, the lingering strain on her face does not go unnoticed as she greets her brother.
By the time Xiaoyan woke, the sun sat high in the sky. Warm light spilled through the window cracks, mottling the floor in bright patches. He sat on the edge of the bed, head heavy with sleep. He shook himself clear, stood up, and splashed water on his face. A soft knock came from the door.
Xiaoyan, have you woken up yet?
It was a girl's voice, light and sweet. Xiaoyan dried his face and pulled the door open. The sudden glare made him squint. Xiao Shun'er stood there in her usual green robes, looking elegant as ever. But as his eyes adjusted, he noticed the paleness of her face. His brow furrowed.
What happened to you?
Shun'er watched his face closely. Seeing only concern there, she offered a small, tired smile.
I just felt a bit under the weather. It's nothing serious.
Xiaoyan stepped out and pulled the door shut behind him. He did not ask again. He reached out and caught her small hand. His grip was firm. He sent a thread of warm Dou Qi into her arm, guided by his spiritual power. It moved through her meridians in a slow, careful circle. He pulled his hand back, his face a mask. Inside, his chest tightened. Her essence was drained. Last night's secret technique had gutted her strength. There were only a few wisps of Dou Qi left in her system, a clear sign of overexertion. Other clan members were moving about now. They watched the two of them standing close and whispered in envy. Shun'er turned red and pulled her hand away.
Xiaoyan, please.
What were you thinking?
Xiaoyan asked, his voice low and stern.
Look at you. You are exhausted.
Shun'er saw the look in his eyes and sighed.
I tried to practice a high-level technique yesterday. It took more out of me than I thought. A few days of rest is all I need. Do not worry.
Xiaoyan shook his head. He knew she was making excuses, but he let it go. They ate breakfast together, then he slipped away from the estate. He spent the morning in Wutan City, listening for news about the Jialei clan. Liu Shi had vanished, which should have caused an uproar, but the clan was quiet. Their shops were still selling medicine as if nothing had happened. Jialei B is keeping a tight lid on things, Xiaoyan thought. He smiled coldly. But you can only hide it for so long. Once your stock runs out, the world will see the truth. He headed toward the center of the city, toward the Matir auction house. In a dark alley nearby, he pulled on a black cloak, hiding his face and frame. He blended into the crowd and walked inside. A young attendant led him straight to a private room. He sat for a moment until Ya Fei arrived. She walked in with a swaying grace, her eyes bright with a smile.
A rare guest indeed,
She said, pouring him a cup of tea.
Xiaoyan, what brings you here today?
She wore a tight-fitting silk dress. When she leaned over to pour the tea, the fabric shifted, revealing a glimpse of pale skin. Xiaoyan felt his throat tighten. He coughed and looked down at his tea. He reached into his storage ring and pulled out 5 small jade bottles.
I am here to finish our deal,
He said. Since she already knew who he was, he did not wait for Yao Lao to speak for him. Ya Fei's eyes locked onto the bottles. Her playful expression vanished, replaced by genuine shock and delight. She picked up a bottle, felt its weight, and poured out a small emerald green pill. The scent of herbs filled the room. She took a deep breath, her chest rising and falling. It took her a long minute to steady herself. She looked at him with a predatory, beautiful smile.
It seems you are ready to move against the Jali clan. Why else would you finish these so soon?
Xiaoyan shrugged. He handed her a piece of paper with a list of herbs. They were ingredients for nourishing the spirit and strengthening the body. He needed them for Shuner. Yafei took the list and immediately called an attendant to go fetch the items. Xiaoyan sat back.
Is the Jia clan sourcing their herbs from other cities?
Yes.
Yafei said, nodding.
They are working with a supplier in Talon City, but without their local connections, they are paying 4 times the market rate.
Desperation is expensive.
Xiaoyan said. He leaned forward.
Do you know their transport route?
Yafei's hand shook slightly, splashing a drop of tea. She stared at him.
What do you plan to do?
I am going to take their shipment.
Yafei let out a long, ragged breath.
The Jai Li clan picked the wrong person to cross. You are a little monster.
She stood up and went to the back of the room. A moment later, she returned with a scroll.
I got this from our branch in Talon City. 2 days ago, the Jia clan bought 400,000 gold pieces worth of herbs. They paid 100,000 up front and took the rest on credit. The shipment should reach Wutan City tomorrow at noon.
She paused.
They have 3 Dou Qi and 1 Dalton Dou Qi guarding it, along with dozens of dosher.
400,000? That is quite a haul.
Xiaoyan said. He tucked the scroll into his storage ring. His voice turned ice cold.
If they lose that shipment, they cannot pay back the debt. The Jia clan is already on the brink. This will break them.
The attendant returned with his herbs. Xiaoyan stood, thanked Yafei with a quick nod, and walked out without looking back. Yafei watched the door close. She shook her head and sighed.
That boy does not act like any teenager I have ever known. Jia Lai Bi is in serious trouble.